Facebook websites. And as at this morning, about 180 students have paid.
Areas in 30 states risk flooding this year.
This year, 657 communities in 52 local government areas across the country falls within the high flood areas.
Human rights lawyer calls for establishment of public defenders across local government areas. The commentary is on the need to address the increasing cases of overweight and obesity among Nigerians. You can follow us on Instagram and X at Radio Nigeria HQ and on Facebook at facebook.com/Radio Nigeria Network. Now the news in detail. The Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC) has sanctioned 8 electricity distribution companies, DISCOs, over non-compliance with capping of estimated bills for unmetered customers. The effect DISCOs, which include Abuja, Eko, Enugu, Ikeja, Jos, Kaduna, Kano, and Yola, are fined over 600 128 million naira. They are to issue credit adjustments to the affected customers by May 15th, 2025. According to a statement by NERC, the DISCOs have been sanctioned for failing to fully comply with the monthly energy caps issued by the Commission between July and September 2024, quarter 3, in line with Section 34(1)(d) of the Electricity Act 2023. The statement notes that NERC remains committed to regulatory compliance and consumer protection in the Nigerian electricity supply industry. In 2020, NERC issued the order on capping of estimated bills and subsequently issued monthly energy caps, which aimed to align the estimated bills for unmetered customers with the measured consumption of metered customers on the same supply feeder. The Raw Materials Research and Development Council, RMRDC, is seeking the support of the Bank of Industry, BOI, in bringing to an end the post-harvest losses in the onion value chain. The Director General of RMRDC, Professor Nailugo Ikemuonso, made this known in Lagos when he visited the Managing Director of BOI, Dr. Olasupo Lucy, to explore collaborative opportunities focused on onion processing and export. The meeting emphasized the need to establish a facility aimed at processing surplus fresh onions into high-value flakes and powder, primarily for domestic and export markets. The Professor Ikemonso stated that onion development would be a huge boom for Nigeria, and also suggested venturing into many other raw materials developments like jute bags, which have high market values. In a remark, the managing director of BOI indicated a strong willingness to partner with RDC, but noted that all necessary variables and factors for it to succeed must be critically evaluated before full implementation. Both organizations agreed to embark on thorough research and feasibility studies to ensure the project achieves its objectives of reducing post-harvest losses, increasing onion shelf life, improving farmers' incomes, and unlocking export opportunities for Nigerian onion products in the global market. The proposal onion processing facility is expected to not only minimize waste, but also create jobs, support industrial growth, and ensure food security. The Ministry of Information and National Orientation has dismissed the recent concerns raised by the Governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Zulum, regarding the security situation in the state. Special Assistant to the Minister of Media, Malam Rabiu Ibrahim, in a statement says the publication is false and a gross distortion of the minister's remarks. The statement notes that there was at no time that the minister ignored Governor Zulum. It explains that Boko Haram is not taking over Borno, and as such, the headline was not only sensational, but deliberately crafted to misinform the public and cause distraction for the federal government. He emphasized the ongoing efforts by the military and other security agencies in the sustained investment in security hardware and intelligence to eradicate terrorism and banditry. The minister further calls on all stakeholders, including state governments, to continue to support the federal government to bring lasting peace to affected communities. The Senate has pledged to provide all necessary support to enhance the operations of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRC. Vice Chair Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs, Senator Dicket Klang, who made the pledge while inaugurating several facilities at the FRC headquarters in Abuja, said the support would help make roads safer and boost socio-economic activities across the country. The lawmaker, who commended the initiatives introduced by the FRC leadership, which had improved the ease of doing business and promoted a more effective traffic management system, also called for special incentives to motivate FRC personnel. Earlier in a remark, Corps Marshal of the FRC, Malam Shehu Mohammed, commended President Bola Tinubu for his continued support for the Corps' mandate state, pledging that the Corps would continue to engage stakeholders in the transport sector to achieve effective traffic management nationwide. Highlight of the event was the commissioning of an ICT hall, a data collection center, and a reception office.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Hooray! It is the 14th convocation ceremony of the National Open University of Nigeria, and the Vice Chancellor, Professor Olufemi Peters, on behalf of the Governing Council, Senate, management and staff of the university, is inviting the general public to the special event coming up on Saturday, 12th April 2025 at the university headquarters in Abuja and the 36 states of the Federation. Venue is the Convocation Arena of the university located in Jabi, Abuja, and time is 10 a.m. Graduates should note that invitation to the on-site activities in Abuja is exclusively limited to all graduates in the FCT, first class, award winners, postgraduate diploma graduates, and PhD graduates. All other graduates outside of the FCT are to attend the ceremony at the study center in their respective state capitals. Oladipo Ajayi, Registrar, Announcer.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Thank you for staying tuned. The federal government has directed all federal tertiary institutions that have been granted waivers to recruit staff and to make it public. A statement from the ministry explains that the directive by the Minister of Education, Dr. Olatunji Alausa, is to ensure a transparent, open and competitive recruitment process that offers equal opportunity to all eligible Nigerians. According to the statement, all federal tertiary institutions must also seek approval from the ministry based on their recruitment need. It wants that non-compliance with the directive will attract sanctions. Over 200,000 candidates have participated in the 2025 Mock Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME) across the country. The Registrar, Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAMB), Professor Ishaq Oloyede, who made this known while monitoring the exercise at a computer-based test (CBT) center in Buari, Abuja, revealed that the results of the mock examination would be released tomorrow. He said the essence of the exercise was to test the board's readiness for the main examination and experiment in new strategies to improve the process. Professor Oloyede expressed concerns that some candidates were patronizing rogue websites to cheat in the exam, stressing that JAMB had also deployed a decoy website targeting such individuals.
We are aware of some rogue websites asking people to come and pay that they can help. It cannot work. We have also opened our own rogue websites. And as at this morning, about 180 students have paid. So those students, because to attempt to cheat is already an infraction. So those who pay into that account looking for questions, we are going to deal firmly with them.
The JAMB Registrar advised candidates to avoid fraudulent websites and individuals claiming to offer assistance during the examination. The federal government has warned that 1,249 communities in 176 local government areas in 30 states and the FCT are prone to high flood risk. The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utsef, gave the warning while launching the 2025 Annual Flood Outlook AFO in Abuja with the theme Flood Resilience, focusing on communication preparedness and adaptive strategies for flood management. Sheyi Ajibade reports that among the states at high risk of flooding this year are Abia, Ebonyi, Benue, Kogi, Adamawa, Borno, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Delta, Oyo, Lagos, and the FCT.
Flooding in Nigeria has become an annual crisis with devastating consequences. Each year, as the rains arrive, reports of submerged homes, displaced families, ruined farmlands, and loss of lives dominate news headlines. What was once considered occasional natural disaster has now become a persistent threat. For instance, a UNICEF report on the 2022 floods, which affected 34 states across the country, revealed that 1.3 million people were displaced, 600 lost their lives, and over 200,000 houses were damaged. The flood also increased cases of diarrhea and waterborne diseases as respiratory infection and skin diseases soared. So the 2025 annual flood outlook is critically important to Nigeria as it serves as a tool for managing and mitigating the devastating effects of flooding across the country. The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Usef, described flooding as one of the most devastating natural disasters in Nigeria and warned that another 666 communities in 52 local government areas in 14 states fall within the high flood risk areas in the months of April, May, and June.
This year, 657 communities in 52 local government areas across the country falls within the high flood risk areas in the months of April, May, and June.
On his part, the Director General of Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, Umar Mohammed, maintained that this year's flood forecast provides community-based specifics to enable them efficiently mitigate flood.
As we know, the population vulnerable to flood disaster will continue to rise if proper mitigation measures are not put in place.
For the representative of the World Meteorological Organization, WMO, Bernard Gomez, WMO would help Nigeria in building capacity in meteorology to improve flood early warning signals.
WMO will continue to partner with NISA to improve capacity in operational hydrology and in its contribution to early warnings in Nigeria and in the region.
The federal government also inaugurated the National Flood Insurance Program to accelerate recovery from flood losses on vulnerable communities. In Abuja, Sheyi Ajibade, Radio Nigeria.
Tangerine Apt Pensions Limited has urged retirees to plan adequate for their retirement from first day of resumption. The head of operation of the company, Mrs. Olutoyosi Adeumi, gave this advice at the Customer Retirees Forum in Abuja. Ademi Bakari covered the forum.
It was a gathering of the elderly, the retirees and civil servants to brainstorm on retirement savings accounts, data capturing, issues related to delay in monthly payments, statements and change of pension fund administrators, among others. The head of operation of Tangerine APT Pensions Limited, Mrs. Oluwatoyosi Adewumi, called on civil servants to notify their PFA few months to retirement to avoid delay of payment of pensions.
Planning for retirement as a worker, you should actually start planning from the day you start working. Planning also has to do with managing your finances, retirement savings account balance to measure your savings too. Because at the point of retirement, the inflow is not like when you are actually in active employment.
A representative of the First Bank Pension Custodian applauded the progress made by Tangerine APT Pensions and urged workers to take cognizance of the provision in the Pension Reform Act.
We've been in business for over 15 years. I've seen them grow from 0 AUM to over 500 billion. It means they have the prospect. So that the industry and the space in the industry is wide enough, and I see them going beyond where they are today.
A medical practitioner, Dr. Zainab Moyi, urged the senior citizens to always check their blood pressure weekly to avoid sudden deaths.
This disease is actually not one that I'm really very happy to discover when I talk to people. And the reason why is that it's a disease that does not have cure. So imagine when you have to tell someone you are going to be on certain drugs for a lifetime. The heart beats about 115,000 times a day, and that's why it's important to take care of it.
Some of the retirees commended Tangerine APT Pensions and asked for more increments in their monthly pensions. Tangerine APT Pensions Limited has a track record of pension administration and present in 34 states. In Abuja, Adeni Bakari, Radio Nigeria.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Governments across the 36 states of the Federation have been advised to establish offices of public defenders in all local government areas to ensure that the less privileged get access to justice. A human rights lawyer and activist, Mr. Femi Falono, son, gave the advice at a 3-day capacity building for prosecutors on the effective administration of criminal justice in Kano. Abdullahi Jalaluddin has details.
Femi Falana said providing public defenders' offices will help those who cannot afford to hire lawyers to have public defenders to stand for them and follow their cases in court with the aim of ensuring effective administration of criminal justice. He noted that the Legal Aid Council has offices in all the 36 states of the Federation. Hence, the Office of the Public Defender must operate in every local government so that the poor who are denied justice will have access to justice.
I expect that office to operate in every local government in Kano State. That is the practice in Lagos. The Office of the Public Defender is located in every local government in Lagos. And I'm saying the entire 44 local governments in Kano must have the Office of the Public Defender so that the poor can have access to justice.
Falana lauded Kano State government for adopting the Administration of Criminal Justice Act in 2019 and becoming the first state to abolish prosecution of criminal cases by lay police officers. Emphasized the need for prosecutors to be equipped with modern gadgets and effective training to enhance their performance. Barrister Sadiq Sabo Kurawa, the convener of the 3D capacity building training, said the objective of the training was to build the capacity of lawyers and prosecutors and at enhancing the administration of criminal justice in the society. He said learned members of the bar who participated in the training dished out practical experiences which will go a long way in ensuring that effective administration of criminal justice was being achieved.
We hope and from even practical experiences. In fact, if I will quote what Professor Jega said after the presentation of the former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, he said that what he taught us here is something that you do not even learn from any book or from the walls of any classroom.
Among the learned senior lawyers that built the capacity of the participants includes Professor Awali Adudu, Dr. A.B. Mahmoud, Femi Falana San, among others. In Kano, Abdullahi Jalaluddin, Radio Nigeria.
The Commandant General of the Nigeria Forest Security Services, Dr. Wole Osatimei, has called for constitutional backing to empower forest guards with legal authority to operate and safeguard the nation's forests from poachers. He made the call on Politics Nationwide, a Radio Nigeria network program. Dr. Osatimei noted that a significant portion of Nigeria's borders remain unmanned by security operatives, stressing the urgent need to bolster national security. Through forest surveillance and support.
Northwest has 7 states. Out of these 7 states, it is only 2 that are not border international community. In the Northwest, when you move from Cape Tokoto, Samfara, Katsina, and Jigawa, they all border international community. let's make it easy for the miscreant to pass through our border. And Nigeria has 364 international border points. Out of this point, 261 are located within the northwest and northeast.
A public affairs analyst, Mr. Ibrahim Kindo, also weighed in on the conversation, highlighting the critical role of complementary security structures. He emphasized the adoption of technology as a key strategy for enhancing forest security.
Once you access to that bill, we expect that the capacity of the foresters will be built, and they would have to work with other security agencies, like he has said. AI, IT is the thing all over the world. You can't use local intelligence for this kind of advanced criminality. So it is expected that we will, in addition to what they are doing, they will be trained to fly drones. It is important.
Mr. Kindo further appealed to state governments to throw their weight behind the bill establishing the National Forest Security Services and advocate for presidential assent, providing the much-needed legal framework for its operations. The Commander, Army Headquarters Garrison, Major General Koko Isoni, has emphasized the need for soldiers to have the necessary skills to survive and defeat their enemies on the battlefield. He stated this at the opening of the 2025 Corporals and Below competition held at the Mogadishu Cantonment in Abuja. Represented by the Garrison Chief of Staff, Brigadier General Suleiman T. Lawan, General Isoni said the competition was organized to improve the professional competence and combat proficiency of the soldiers and urged them to prioritize training in order to keep fit. On his part, the Garrison Training Officer, Brigadier General Ndareke Orok, pointed out that the competition was designed to showcase dedication, resilience, professionalism, and foster teamwork that define them as a force. General Orok thanks the commander for providing the resources and environment for the event and commended the Guards Brigade for providing the facilities for the competition. Next is Sports Update.
The Nigeria Football Federation has confirmed that Brentford's G-Tech Community Stadium will host Nigeria, Jamaica, Ghana, and Trinidad and Tobago battles after the final signatures and endorsements were sealed for this year's Unity Cup Invitational Tournament. The tournament will kick off with the first semi final on Tuesday, 27th of May, as Trinidad and Tobago tackle Jamaica. The following day, three-time African champions Nigeria will take on Ghana in the second semi-final. All four teams will return on Saturday. The 1st of May for the grand finale, with the losers of the semi-final fixtures featuring in the third place game before the final to determine the Unity Cup 2025 champions. President of the Nigeria Football Federation, Ibrahim Musa Gusso, said Nigeria signed on for the tournament as it offers a vital opportunity for our team to bond ahead of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers in September. Chairman of the National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko, has thrown his weight behind Nigeria's bid to host the 2030 Commonwealth Games, describing it as a confident step for the country's sports development. Nigeria officially expressed interest in bidding to host the 2030 Commonwealth Games in Abuja, meeting the March 28th deadline for submissions. The announcement was made after a meeting of the executives of the Nigeria Olympic Committee held on the 3rd of April. In a statement released by Tony Ezianya, the LOC's public relations officer, the committee confirmed that Nigeria's bid for the prestigious sporting event would provide an opportunity to showcase the nation's development and the global standing and strengthen its sports culture. However, a formal bid can only proceed if the federal government grants its support to the initiative. Backing the initiative, DICO declared full alignment with the NOC, adding that the NSC is focused on hosting major continental and global championships as part of a broader reset, refocus, and relaunch strategy for Nigerian sports. Nigeria's last major multi-sport event was the African Games in 2003 in Abuja. The next Commonwealth Games will be hosted in Glasgow, Scotland from March 17 to 29, 2026. That's Sports News. I am Jonathan Ame.
The commentary is on the need to address the increasing case of overweight and obesity among Nigerians. It is written by Kabir Babatunde of our legal department.
A new study of global data covering more than 200 countries, including Nigeria, has predicted that over 50% of adults and a third of children worldwide will be obese or overweight by 2050. The study also predicted that obesity levels could increase rapidly during the remainder of this decade, particularly in lower income countries. The study added that by 2021, almost half of the world adult population of about 1 billion men and 1.11 billion women aged 25 or older were overweight or obese. It further said the proportion of both men and women living with the conditions has doubled since 1990. The study warned that if the trend continues, global rates of overweight and obese adults would rise to about 57.4% for men and 60.3% for women by 2050. Each year, 2 million children die from malnutrition. By 2035, every fourth person will be living with obesity. This simply means while some people are eating too much, others are famished and starving. It is said that 5 countries, namely US, China, Brazil, India, and Russia, account for around a third of all cases of obesity in adults globally. The study said Nigeria particularly stands out, with the predicted number projected to more than triple from 36.6 million in 2021 to 141 million in 2050, which would make Nigeria the fourth largest population of adults who are overweight or obese. The statistics are startling for Nigeria, whose people's propensities for amassing ample weight seem to have dangerously defied the country's serial economic problems. Needless to say that overweight means weight above normal requirement and obese means abnormal fatness. The flaccid reaction of many victims is to practically watch their weight as it grows exponentially. Series of legal actions have either been threatened or commenced in some countries by some overweight or obese consumers, aggrieved by the perceived failure of the manufacturers to warn them about the dangers of such products to health. The issue is whether the consumers were force-fed in the first place. The study coincides with a time when there seems to be an increase in the number of Nigerians kitted out for jogging and pumping the iron. Perhaps it is a case of 1 pound lost in the gymnasium and 3 gained at the table. Studies have attributed increase in overweight and obesity to unapologetic consumption of fatty and sugary products and sedentary lifestyles. It is curious that while the stresses of the hard times are making many Nigerians lean and hungry, there are equally many as well whose tummies and anatomies are multiplying in the face of shrinking economy. Although the study did not consider the immediate impacts of weight loss medications might have, it is said that they could play a significant role in the future. The report said if governments could take urgent action, there is still time to prevent what could be a disaster for countries with vulnerable healthcare systems like Nigeria. Nigeria must identify and prioritize immediate multifaceted intervention strategies and treatment of those who remain predominantly overweight and obese, who must on their own part pull their own weight to address what the report described as an imminent profound tragedy to avoid intergenerational transmission of obesity, wave of related serious health conditions, and dire financial and societal cost for future generations of Nigerians. If the weight of the hard times in Nigeria is weighed against the body mass index of Nigerians, the epidemic, overweight and obesity would amount to monumental societal failure.
That commentary on the need to address the increasing case of overweight and obesity among Nigerians was written by Kabir Babatunde and read by Fubara Peppo. For the weather update, residents of FCT Abuja, Yola, Kaduna are experiencing partly cloudy weather with a temperature of less than 30 degrees Celsius. It is mostly cloudy in Lagos, Enugu and Port Harcourt with a temperature range of not more than 26 degrees Celsius. To end the news, here is a recap of the major stories. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has fined 8 electricity distribution companies over 600 million naira for non-compliance with capping of estimated bills for unmetered customers. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has conducted a mock unified tertiary matriculation examination nationwide. The results are due to be released tomorrow. Over 200 local government areas are at risk of flooding. This is according to the annual flood outlook presented in Abuja today by the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utsef. A human rights lawyer, Mr. Femi Falono, has called for the establishment of public defenders' offices across all local government areas of the Federation. That's the news. Edited by Conrad Labe and the production team. My name is Rachel Buala. On the network service of Radio Nigeria is Custom Matter.
99.1 àwa la jẹ́ nọ́mbà 1 máa ń jẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ bó ti ṣe ń lọ pẹ̀lú àwọn ètò tó táwọn yọ àtàwọn ìròyìn tó fọgbọ́n yọ àti ìpolówó ọjà tó mú ní ìta lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ àwa la nìyẹn ibikíbi lákòókò yó ẹ̀dá Amúlùdùn láyé ń bá kétékété Moniya aláwa ń bàdàn ẹ̀dá Amúlùdùn láyé ń bá kétékété. Amúlùdùn FM 99.1 ní Moniya ń bàdàn ló máa ń múnú àwa dùn.
ìwọ ọ̀rẹ́ mi tẹ́tí kò gbọ́ bó ṣe ń dún Amúlùdùn FM 99.1 òmìnira jìjìjì sétí aráyé jọ̀wọ́ má gbé kúrò níbẹ̀ o àtàwọn yọ àní ò má gbé kúrò níbẹ̀ o àtàwọn yọ ó yá ọ̀rẹ́ mi àtàwọn yọ ètò àtàtà lóríṣiríṣi àtàwọn yọ ìròyìn àsìkò tó kún rẹ́rẹ́ àtàwọn yọ pápó lówó ọjà lọ́dọ̀ tí a àtàwọn yọ gbogbo ayé ló ń gbọ́ wá àtàwọn yọ ẹ̀yin tèmi abẹ́lé nǹkan àtàwọn yọ ó yá máa gbé kúrò níbẹ̀ ṣe àtàwọn yọ Amúlùdùn FM Moniya ní Ìbàdàn àtàwọn yọ ọ̀rẹ́ mi àtàwọn yọ.
Má sọ̀wọ́nù nítorí ipò ayé lásán. Má sọ̀wọ́nù nítorí ipò ayé lásán. Má gbéraga o nítorí ẹwà ayé. Yàtọ̀ kíkà ẹ̀ ó máa wà gbọ́dọ̀ ń ṣe dá. Má kà á sókè. Má sọ̀wọ́nù nítorí ipò ayé lásán. Má gbéraga o nítorí ọ̀la ayé. Yàtọ̀ kíkà ẹ̀ ó máa wà gbọ́dọ̀ ń ṣe dá. Má kà á sókè. Ọ̀rẹ́ má sọ̀wọ́nù nítorí ipò ayé lásán má gbéraga o nítorí ọ̀rọ̀ ayé yàtọ̀ tí ká ẹ̀ ó máa wà bọ́lá ń ṣe dá má kà á sókè. má sọ̀wádù nítorí ipò ayé lásán má gbéraga o ìgbéraga lẹ́yà sọ́ọ̀lẹ̀. yàtọ̀ tí ká ẹ̀ ó máa wà bọ́lá ń ṣe dá má kà á sókè. pàdé mi má gbàgbé gbọ́dọ̀ orin ga òní ká ló lọ. má gbàgbé gbọ́dọ̀ orin ga òní ká ló ṣọmọ kọjá ọjọ́ orí yẹn ò lè mú níkù. omi àwọn ìjọre tọ́ḿbọ̀ bá ànàjáyé títí o. lísì ọba àjà ọmọdé mìíràn nílé ọba. báńsù tó bá wá jọba ìjọyè àná àmàdọ̀balẹ̀ fún dandan ni. bẹ́ẹ̀ bọ́ńṣe tóbi lọ́mọ kò ní kán má lè ṣàpọ́nlé ọba. táyé jákèjì ká ẹ̀ ó máa bọ̀ ló ń ṣe dá má kà á sókè. má sọ̀rọ̀ nítorí ipò ayé lásán má gbéraga nítorí ọ̀la ayé. jákèjì ká ẹ̀ ó máa wà bọ̀ ló ń ṣe dá má kà á sókè. ó bá wọ́n mi ọ̀rẹ́ àtijọ́ o lè ti jọ wà rí fọjọ́ tó pẹ́ o. ìyẹn nígbà tí fẹ́tijọ́ mú gàrí sùúrì lálẹ́. táyé oníkálukú wọ́n ṣe pín àbáyé ṣe ń rí o. ọmọ ká tó wí tó ẹnìkan ti dán lọ́la ó ti kọ́lé rẹpẹtẹ pẹ̀lú ọkọ̀ tó pọ̀ lọ́bì ìgbà. bọ́ọ̀lù bá wà kí ẹ nílé àbórí ẹni gbóró àbòpàdé ẹni pàtí ọ̀rẹ́ mi ṣàpọ́nlé fún un má gbàgbé gbàgbẹ́jọ kéré. wo jọmọdé bí ẹ̀rọ àbọ̀ ló ń ṣe dá má lọ fọ́ǹbù. má sọ̀wánú nítorí ipò ayé lásán má gbéraga nítorí ọ̀la ayé. yàtọ̀jì ká ẹ̀ ó máa wà bọ̀ ló ń ṣe dá má kà sókè. ṣé ìwọ tó ń pọ́nlé má torí ipò ayé lásán. ìwọ tó ń yẹ sí má torí ipò ayé lásán. kó wá tàbùkù ọ̀rẹ́ tẹ́tí jọ ṣe kékeré o. má kàn sọ pé báwọn má ti pé báwọn ni òyìnbó ní respect is reciprocal. ọ̀rẹ́ má gara jù kàpọ́nlé tọ̀ lára ń fẹ́ o. má kì í kí ẹ̀ má sọ wípé kò má jẹ́ nǹkan. ọ̀rẹ́ má sọ wánú nítorí ọ̀la ayé. yàtọ̀jì ká ẹ̀ ó máa wà bọ́ ló ń ṣe dá má kà á sókè. má sọ wánú nítorí ipò ayé lásán má gbéraga báyọ̀ lówó ìbáyọ̀ ló dára lónìí. àwọn ẹgbẹ́ ọ̀dọ́dá ẹ̀ àwọn ẹgbẹ́ sísá ẹ̀ ò dára fún. ọ̀rẹ́ mi ìgbéraga kò gbéyàn dèbí ìkànjú kan àwọn èèyàn sọ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o bó bá ìṣe padà wọ́n padà sọ wípé kí ló ń ṣe náà lẹ́yìn ọ̀rọ̀ yìí wọ́n ti bànú pọ̀ wọn àtúnwáyé mú pàdé mi má gbéraga o lórí lẹ́bù kò fi ṣí ń gbá yín fó jẹ́ kí lọ́dún ẹ̀ ó máa wà bọ́ ló ń ṣe fẹ́ o má lọ fọ́ǹbù jù má sọ̀wánú nítorí ipò ayé lásán má gbéraga o ọ̀pọ̀ ìtọ́jú rẹ̀ tilẹ̀ tí fà mú o lọ́gbà ọmọ kò nira fún mi kò nira fún mi kásà pọ́nlé fún ẹni sọ́ba lọ́rùn ìṣàpọ́nlé o karamba ní nínú èèyàn kan kòrówó jẹun kòrówó ṣe jẹ́ wọ́n bá ránṣẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ ẹnìkan bá rẹ̀ sí ìgbà tó débẹ̀ ó náwó sí ọ̀gá iṣẹ́ o àbúrò báwo ṣọ àfọ̀ṣàṣẹ́ ọ̀nì wọ́n sọ fún mi kó máa gbà mí ṣiṣẹ́ ẹni tó sanwó ṣùkú kàkà kóló rẹ̀ olólo. báńsù kò nira fún mi kò nira fún mi kásà pọ́nlé fún ẹni tó bá lọ sí àpọ́nlé o karamba ní nínú èèyàn kan rẹwà o kòrówó jẹun kòrówó ṣe jẹ́ ọmọ kúrásì o wọ́n bá ríṣẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ èèyàn kan máa gbà mí ìgbà tó débẹ̀ lọ́nà wọ́n sí ọ̀gá ṣẹ́ àbúrò táwọn ṣòro àpáṣẹ́ṣẹ́ ọ̀nì o wọ́n sọ fún mi kó máa gbà mí ṣiṣẹ́ ẹni tó sanwó oṣù fún kàkà kóló rẹ̀ olólo. Ìbànú pàlàpọ̀lọ́ jẹ́ bí ẹni pàlàpọ̀lọ́ àbá òfin ìbò owó pàlàpọ̀lá. Ìgbéraga kò máa jẹ́ wọ́n sún bí kan Ìbànú láti bí kan kò ní lè sún sí bí kan. Gbogbo àrùgà tó ta gbọ́jà lápọ̀lọ́. Ìwà mọ́tọ́mọ́tọ́ darí ẹ̀kọ́ dá nǹkan. Kò lè fún ẹni nǹkan. Ọ̀gbìn pa ń lọ. Ìwà rẹ̀lẹ̀ ló lè gbé ní dẹ́pọ̀ àgbà. Èjìrè nígbàkigbà tó bá ń ga fún ẹgbẹ́ kan. Omi eléyìí ni ò ní yé sọ pé kó jẹ́ nǹkan. Ọ̀tọ̀ nǹkan kí ilé àdùn padà kan. Ọlọ́run ọba tó sọ mí ní nǹkan má fi mí sílẹ̀ fàráyé mú kọ́rẹ́ǹsì. Èjìrè nígbàkigbà tó bá ń ga fún ẹgbẹ́ kan. Ò ní yé sọ pé kó jẹ́ nǹkan. Ọ̀tọ̀ nǹkan kí ilé àdùn padà kọ́rẹ́ǹsì. Ọlọ́run ọba tó sọ mí ní nǹkan ṣe láyé oríṣiríṣi sálọ ta nílé ayé ìjà o Bàṣù ọ̀tá òde máa lọ ta tó bá gbọ́ nǹkan ní dáadáa tí a fẹ́ ṣe àbí tá a ṣe. Wọ́n wá fẹ́ máa ṣe bí ọ̀rẹ́ láti mọ nǹkan ọ̀nà àṣírí bá a ṣe tó wọ́n lè ṣe nǹkan ibi ni ló fi ẹ̀kẹ́dà tó jẹ́ nǹkan tó máa ní fura. Màṣàṣírí fẹ́ nìkan tó jọ lọ́hùn ọba lọ. Tó lẹ́ni támọ̀ ní ọ̀rẹ́ ó lè jẹ́ ọ̀tá. Báyìí sùn nígbàkigbà tó bá ń da fún ẹrù ẹ̀ kan. Wo mi eléyìí ni òní yé sọ tó jẹ́ nǹkan. Ọ̀tọ̀ nǹkan kí ilé ẹ̀kún padà kan. Ọlọ́run ọba tó sọ mí di nǹkan má fi mí sílẹ̀ fara ẹmu kọ́rẹ́ǹsì. Èjìrè nígbàkigbà tó bá ń da fún ẹrù ẹ̀ kan. Májọ wa yóò tẹ̀lé ọlọ́run kọ́rẹ́ǹsì ọmọba sí ọba tó sọ mí di nǹkan kò fi mí lẹ̀ bí mo ṣe ń sún. Ọ̀tá lélẹ̀ lórí ọ̀tá bá burú lẹ̀ dá o. Táyé jíjẹ mímú àtẹ̀yí tó jẹ́ ìṣọ́ra o. Àsìkò tá a máa sùn wọ́n á sọ fẹ́ni tí ó ṣe bí. Aburú tí ò ní ìṣọ̀nà àti mọ́rí bọ́. Táyé múnimúni tó wá burú tó ọ̀tá lé òsì o. Bàbá ìṣe oṣù náà mo gbà pé o. Ọlọ́run ọba tó sọ wá di nǹkan kò ní fi wálẹ̀ fara ẹmu àmì. Èjìrè nígbàkigbà tó bá dá fún àgbàgbé àmọ́ kí n máa lọ sẹ́yìn àwọn ọ̀pẹ kọjá nǹkan. Wọ́n kọ́ bí ilé àdúgbò padà kan. Ọlọ́run ọba tó sọ mí ní nǹkan kò fi mí lẹ̀ bó ṣe ń sún. Báyìí sí nínú ogun tí a ní tí ó ti tó. Táyé nínú ọlá tí a ní tí ó ti tó mo gbìyànjú mo gbà sí ẹ̀dá ẹgbẹ́ mi. Táyé mo dẹ̀sùn wá níyẹn lọ́kàn pé Ọlọ́run náà ní lọ́ba tí mo ṣe yìí fún bó ṣe ní iṣẹ́ o. Nítorí ìyẹn ṣàbò mi ṣàbò mi ṣàbò mi kí n dolúborí. Báyìí sùn tọ́ta létèlé ní àwọn tó jẹ́ ọ̀tá òde kí n dolúborí ọlọ́run ọba tó sọ mí ní nǹkan má fi mí sílẹ̀ fara ẹ̀ mú ńlá. èjì rẹ̀ nígbàkigbà tó bá ń dá fún ẹrú ẹ̀kọ́ ẹlẹ́yìn ní òní èso gbẹ́kọ̀jọ́ ọ̀tá ọ̀pá ilé ẹ̀dùn padà. ibà bá sí bàbá sàṣìyà sàárù ọmọ kìíní kan báyìí sú kọ́rẹ́nsì táyé ọmọ kìíní kan báyìí sú ìpele nìyí o wọn dàbí àṣẹ torí pé ìránṣẹ́ kan kò lè kún fómi láéláé tó dàbọ̀ jágbára ṣẹ́rí ìtumọ̀ ẹni pé bẹ́ẹ̀ forí ṣe fọ́rùn ṣe tó jẹ́ kìkì wúrà eléyìí ni ò ní gbà pé má ṣe ń mọ́ ṣùgbọ́n lọ́wọ́ ọba tó sọ mí ní nǹkan ọlọ́wọ́ ọba tó sọ mí ní nǹkan kò fi mí sílẹ̀ fara ẹ̀ mú ńlá. èjì rẹ̀ nígbàkigbà tó bá ń dà fún ẹrú ẹ̀kọ́ eléyìí ni ò ní yé èso ọ̀tá ọkọ̀ ilé ayélujára ọlọ́wọ́ ọba tó sọ mí ní nǹkan kò fi mí lẹ̀ bí mo ṣe ń sùn. ṣebí Kàsálí ló ra níkà kan pẹ̀lú ìtẹ̀lẹ̀ kan alákọ̀rí àwọn èèyàn wọ́n ní kí lọ́wọ́ tó ń yọ kàtà lójú Kàsálí ọmọ ló bá tún rọrùn bá wọ́n ní kí ló dé sọ́tún fẹ́ lọ lé àná Kàsálí kọ̀rọ̀ ló bá tún ra bàtàsì gan òkè tilẹ̀ ṣáà ní bàtàsì yẹn ìgbà táwọn ọlọ́tẹ̀ ààbò sì máa wí wọn wọ́n ní kò lè wọ́n tó ní bọ̀dá táyé. ṣebí Kàsálí ló ra ní àkàn pẹ̀lú ìtẹ̀lẹ̀ kan alákọ̀rí àwọn èèyàn wọ́n ní kí lọ́wọ́ tó ń yọ kàtà lójú Kàsálí lọ́gbọ́n ló bá tún wọn bùbá wọ́n ní kí ló dé tó tún fẹ́rẹ̀ lé àná ni Kàsálí jọ̀wọ́ ló bá rà bàtàsì kan tilẹ̀ ṣáà ní bàtàsì yẹn ìgbà táwọn ọlọ́tẹ̀ aláàbòsí máa wí wọ́n ní kò lè wọ́n tó sí bọ̀dá táyé. Kọ́rẹ́nsì ìjà lè táyé lọ́rùn kẹwì náà o. a ò lè táyé lọ́rùn láéláé. kápákó náà ṣíkú bí àwọn eṣinṣin láé. a ò lè táyé lọ́rùn láéláé. káforí délẹ̀ láti bí wọ̀lú mọ́ká. a ò lè táyé lọ́rùn láéláé. kásomi díwà bí ti Jésù Kristi ìdáyọjọ́ sí. a ò lè táyé lọ́rùn láéláé. káwọn ní oṣù pàkálà túmọ̀ bó ṣe ń tọ́nà ká túmọ̀ o. a ò lè táyé lọ́rùn láéláé. ṣòro kò lè táyé lọ́rùn wá bí o. a ò lè táyé lọ́rùn láéláé. ẹ̀yin ará mi ṣe owó nìkan ni kò ṣe má má ní o. ẹ wí fún mi náà kí n gbọ́ owó nìkan kọ́. owó nìkan kọ́. ẹ̀yin ará mi ṣe owó nìkan o ni kò ṣe má má ní o. ẹ wí fún mi náà kú bá sí. owó nìkan kọ́. ṣẹ́rí kò ṣe má bá ní o ṣàníyàn rẹ̀ ṣẹ́rí tí ọ̀rẹ́ ò bá gbádùn òun náà ò ní bá ṣẹ́rí tí ọ̀rẹ́ tí kò bá lówó lọ́wọ́ òun yóò kó ọ̀rẹ́ láṣìírí ẹgbẹ́ máa ṣe owó nìkan o ní kò ṣe má bá ní o ẹ̀rí fún mi náà táyé owó nìkan kọ́ ìṣòwò nìkan ṣẹ́rí kò ṣe má bá ní o tún níyàwó kan tó jẹ́ pé tí ọkọ ẹ̀ kò bá lówó lọ́wọ́ kò ní fọkọ ẹ̀ sílẹ̀ láíláíláí á máa wọ̀rọ̀ ní bọ́ọ̀kọ̀ òun á ṣe ká owó nìkan láíláí kì í ṣòwò nìkan táyé ìláyé ọlọ́run tó ń sọ táyé látijọ́ tí màmá ti bí táyé táyé kó sì túnbọ̀ dákun máa sọ táyé o ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí táyé sọ̀pọ̀dún láyé àmì ìláyé ọlọ́run tó ń sọ táyé látijọ́ tí màmá ti bí táyé táyé kó sì túnbọ̀ dákun máa sọ táyé o ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí táyé sọ̀pọ̀dún láyé. ìjì tí ayé mi ọmọ Adébísí ni mo ti mọ̀ pọ́ńdà wà lóríṣiríṣi ogun àfojúrí àtẹ̀yìn tó hàn tó ń gbé sí mi mo múra mọ́sẹ́jà àmàtúgbà Adébísí kó tó wá di pé bàbá Yésù mo rọ́wọ́ mú ìgbà mo ṣe wàhálà ta lórí táyé èmi ni mo jẹsẹ̀ mi bàbọ́ládé ní kọ́rẹ́nsì. ìláyé ọlọ́run tó ń ṣọ́ta ẹ̀. dájúdá tí màmá ti ní sáyésáyé. wọ́n sì tún bá dàpọ̀ máa ṣọ́ta ẹ̀ o. ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí táyé ṣọ̀pọ̀dún láyé. oríṣi ọ̀tá mẹ́ta ló wà ọmọdé bí sí. kọ́lọ́ńdà wà lọ́wọ́ kọ́rẹ́nsì àkọ́kọ́ níbẹ̀. àfojúfẹ́ ni má fọkàn fẹ́ tó ṣojú ayé. àlùpẹ́ nígbà aládùn àwọn lójú aráyé. ṣùgbọ́n kákúté nìtọ́lá èrò wọn nínú. ọlọ́run sọ mí. ìráyè ọlọ́run tó ń ṣàlàyé. dájúdá tí màmá ti bí sáyésáyé. ọ̀rẹ́ sí i. wọ́n sì tún bá dàpọ̀ ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí táyé ṣọ̀pọ̀dún láyé o. alárò pinlẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kejì tí ọlọ́gbẹ́ táyé lè ga. ó sáyé láti já mi bọ́ ló ń bá wọ̀ yá jà. ọ̀nà ìbúrú lọ́lọ́ ń gbégbá ojú wọn lójú o. ẹni ní ìmọ̀lógbà mi pẹ́ alómọ́gbà nírú wọn. ìráyè ọlọ́run tó ń ṣọ́táyé. dájúdá tí màmá ti bí táyé sáyé. wọ́n sì tún bá dàpọ̀ máa ṣọ́táyé o. ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí táyé ṣọ̀pọ̀dún láyé. kọ́lọ́ máa fọ̀tá lọ́rọ̀ sọ o. àmì mo fẹ́ mọ̀ ní abájọ mi o. wọ́n yí o. àìmọ̀ ní abájọ ló fọwọ́ lórí. ló ń bí wọn nínú kò lè yé wọn. wọ́n fẹ́ mọ̀ ní abájọ mi.
ó dùn bí oyin ní. ó dùn bí oyin. kọ́kọ́ rédíò tó jẹ́ ti Yorùbá.
Amuludun FM 99.1.
fẹ́ ṣoore. Rọra ṣe o, anybody tó bá fẹ́ ṣoore.